Have you ever noticed how certain foods get treated like they're either miracle cures or complete junk with almost no middle ground? Bananas are a perfect example. Some people talk about them like they are the ultimate health food. Others dismiss them because they contain sugar. And then there are those who only think of bananas as a quick snack you grab on the way out the door and never really think about again. But what if the truth is a lot more interesting than either extreme? What if eating one banana every day doesn't magically transform your life overnight, but quietly influences several important systems in your body in ways that actually matter over time? Because that's where nutrition gets powerful. Not in hype, not in shortcuts, not in dramatic promises, but in the small, repeatable choices that shape your energy, digestion, circulation, recovery, and even the way you feel mentally from one week to the next. And bananas are one of those foods that deserve a closer look. They're inexpensive, they're portable, they require no preparation, and unlike many trendy superfoods, they're already sitting in kitchens, lunch bags, office drawers, and grocery carts all over the world. So in this video, we're going to take a calm, honest look at what may really happen if you eat one banana every day. Not what the internet exaggerates, not what food marketing wants you to believe, but what makes biological sense, what nutrition science suggests, and why this humble fruit may be more useful than most people realize. We'll talk about energy, digestion, heart function, muscle performance, mood, hormone balance, and something many people overlook completely: the difference between eating a banana occasionally and eating it consistently. Because consistency is where food stops being a random snack and starts becoming part of your body's daily environment. Let's begin with the first thing most people experience, even if they don't realize it. You may feel more stable energy during the day. One reason bananas have remained popular for so long is simple. They are easy energy. When you eat a banana, you're getting carbohydrates in a form that your body can use relatively efficiently. That doesn't mean a banana is some kind of stimulant. It means it can provide a useful source of fuel, especially when compared with highly processed snacks that spike your energy and leave you crashing soon after. A banana contains natural sugars, yes, but it also contains fiber and water, which helps make the energy release feel steadier than candy or sugary baked products. That matters more than many people think. A lot of people don't actually have a calorie problem. They have an energy management problem. They skip meals, rely on caffeine, eat ultra-processed snacks, then wonder why they feel drained, foggy, irritable, or hungry again an hour later. A banana won't solve an entire diet problem, but it can be a smarter default choice. For example, eating one as part of breakfast, before a walk, before exercise, or in the middle of a busy afternoon may help you avoid reaching for foods that leave you feeling worse later. This is where practical nutrition beats dramatic nutrition. You do not need every food to be magical. You need foods that are helpful, accessible, and easy to repeat. And bananas fit that category very well. They're especially useful when paired with something else, like Greek yogurt, oats, nuts, peanut butter, or eggs, because then you combine quick fuel with protein or fat, which may improve satiety and make the snack more balanced. So if you eat one banana every day, one of the first real benefits may simply be this: your body gets a more reliable source of nourishment, and your daily eating pattern may become slightly more stable. That sounds small, but a lot of long-term health change starts with small things that are easy enough to keep doing. 2. Your digestion may become more regular. Now let's talk about one of the most believable and practical benefits of a daily banana: digestion. This is one of those areas where people often underestimate how much their quality of life depends on regular bowel function and a healthy gut environment. If digestion is off, everything feels off. You feel heavy, bloated, uncomfortable, sluggish, sometimes even distracted or moody. Bananas contain fiber, and fiber plays a major role in supporting digestive regularity. Different stages of ripeness may also matter. Slightly greener bananas tend to contain more resistant starch, while riper bananas usually taste sweeter and may be easier for some people to tolerate. Resistant starch is interesting because it behaves differently than rapidly digested carbohydrates. It can act more like a fuel source for beneficial gut bacteria. And when your gut bacteria are better supported, that can influence not only digestion, but also immune signaling and aspects of metabolic health. This is where bananas become more than just fruit. They become part of the food environment that either feeds or neglects the microbial world inside your digestive tract. Now, this does not mean one banana a day will fix your gut. That's too simplistic. If someone is chronically dehydrated, highly stressed, low in overall fiber, sedentary, and eating mostly ultra-processed foods, a banana alone won't rescue digestion, but it can help. And sometimes that's enough to matter. For people who struggle with mild irregularity, inconsistent fiber intake, or a lack of fruit in the diet, eating one banana daily can be a simple way to introduce more structure into digestion. It may support more consistent bowel movements. It may reduce the chance of getting overly hungry and choosing low-fiber foods. And for some people, it may simply make the digestive system feel calmer. There's also a behavioral advantage here. When someone makes a healthy food part of a daily ritual, that choice tends to spill into other choices. A person who starts the day with fruit is often more likely to keep eating better through the rest of the day. Not always, but often. That is one reason simple habits can have effects that go beyond the nutrients in a single food. You may be supporting your heart and blood pressure in a quiet but meaningful way. If there is one nutrient most people associate with bananas, it's potassium, and for good reason. Potassium is one of the key minerals involved in fluid balance, nerve signaling, muscle function, and blood pressure regulation. It works in a relationship with sodium, and that balance matters. Modern diets often tilt heavily towards sodium, especially when people eat packaged meals, fast food, cured meats, salty snacks, and convenience foods on a regular basis. That imbalance can place more strain on the cardiovascular system over time. A banana is not a drug. It does not clean your arteries. It does not instantly lower blood pressure. But eating potassium-rich foods regularly may help support a healthier internal balance, especially when they replace more processed options. That replacement effect is important. Nutrition is not just about what a food contains. It is also about what that food is crowding out. If one daily banana replaces a pastry, chips, candy bar, or sugary drink, then the benefit isn't only the potassium. It's also the reduced intake of less helpful foods. That is how real diets improve. Not only through addition, but through substitution. And the heart tends to benefit from this kind of shift. Potassium supports normal cardiovascular function. Fiber supports better overall diet quality. Whole fruits are generally associated with better health patterns than processed snack foods. And when a food is convenient enough to become consistent, that gives it even more value. Many people wait for dramatic health interventions while ignoring the small patterns that shape blood pressure and cardiovascular strain every single day. Eat more whole foods. Reduce overdependence on packaged snacks. Increase mineral-rich produce. Stay hydrated. Move your body. A banana fits naturally into that bigger picture. It is not the entire strategy, but it is absolutely compatible with a better one. 4. Your muscles and nerves may function more smoothly. Another reason bananas are so often associated with exercise is that they contribute nutrients involved in muscle contraction and nerve signaling. This includes potassium and, to a lesser degree, magnesium, depending on the rest of the diet. When muscles contract, relax, and coordinate movement, they rely on electrical signaling. That signaling depends on electrolyte balance. When that balance is disrupted, people may experience weakness, fatigue, tightness, or cramping more easily. Now, not all muscle cramps are caused by low potassium. That's an oversimplification. Cramps can be related to fatigue, overuse, dehydration, nerve issues, circulation problems, medication effects, or other mineral imbalances too. But nutritional support still matters. For people who sweat a lot, exercise frequently, or simply don't eat enough whole foods, adding a banana to the daily routine may support better muscular function indirectly. Think of it like maintenance, not a miracle fix, not emergency treatment, maintenance. That's how the body often works. It responds to the environment you create repeatedly. A single healthy meal rarely transforms your life. A single unhealthy meal rarely ruins it. But repeated patterns matter. This is especially true as people age. With age, muscle mass naturally declines if it is not actively maintained. Hydration may become less reliable. Appetite may fluctuate. Activity patterns can become inconsistent. And when nutrition quality drops at the same time, energy and physical function may deteriorate faster than expected. A banana alone will not preserve strength. Resistance training and adequate protein matter far more. But as part of an overall pattern, it can be useful, especially before light exercise, after activity, or as part of a recovery meal. Sometimes the best health tools are not the most impressive. They're the ones people actually use. 5. It may help your mood more than you expect. Now let's talk about an area where people either become too skeptical or too mystical. Food and mood. Can a banana cure anxiety or depression? No. And it's important to say that clearly. Mental health is complex. It involves sleep, stress, trauma, relationships, activity levels, hormones, nutrition, and many other variables. No single fruit should be framed like psychiatric treatment. But can food influence the chemistry and stability of how you feel? Absolutely. Bananas contain vitamin B6, which plays a role in neurotransmitter production. They also contain tryptophan, an amino acid often mentioned in discussions about serotonin pathways. That doesn't mean eating a banana instantly floods your brain with happiness. Biology is more complicated than that. But it does mean bananas contribute nutrients that participate in systems related to mood and nervous system function. There is also a second layer here that often matters just as much as the chemistry: predictability. Stable eating patterns support more stable energy. More stable energy often supports more stable mood, and fewer crashes throughout the day may reduce irritability and mental fatigue. Sometimes what people describe as bad mood is partly low sleep, poor blood sugar regulation, high stress, dehydration, and erratic eating. That doesn't reduce emotional struggles to food. It simply recognizes that the brain is part of the body, and the body responds to how it is fed. A daily banana can also serve as a grounding ritual. That may sound small, but routines affect mental well-being more than people realize. A simple act repeated each day can communicate order, care, stability, intention, and when combined with better habits overall, walking, hydration, sleep, less processed food, that daily food ritual may contribute to a better baseline mental state because your nervous system pays attention to what you repeatedly do. 6. The conversation around testosterone needs more honesty. Now we need to address one of the most attention-grabbing claims associated with bananas: testosterone. This is the kind of topic that gets exaggerated online because it attracts clicks very easily. Any food linked to masculinity, performance, libido, or hormones tends to be turned into a headline. So let's be honest. Bananas do contain compounds like bromelain and vitamin B6, and those nutrients may have some relevance to hormone-related processes in the body. But that does not mean eating one banana per day will dramatically raise testosterone in some obvious life-changing way. Hormones are influenced by many factors: sleep quality, body composition, resistance training, stress load, alcohol use, micronutrient status, overall calorie intake, underlying health conditions. So when people ask, will eating one banana every day boost testosterone? The most realistic answer is this: it may support a healthier overall environment, but it is not a direct hormone hack. That said, context matters. If a banana helps someone reduce stress eating, improve workout fueling, get more vitamin-rich whole foods, and maintain a more balanced routine, then yes, indirectly, it may support systems connected to better hormonal health. That is a more mature way to understand nutrition. Single foods rarely control major hormones by themselves, but they can support or undermine the broader environment in which hormones operate. And that distinction matters, especially if you want content that informs rather than just excites. 7. Weight management may become easier for some people. Here's another underrated effect of eating one banana daily: appetite control through better food choices. A banana is not ultra low in calories, but it is reasonable, satisfying, naturally sweet, and easy to carry. That makes it useful for people who tend to grab highly processed snacks when hunger hits. A lot of overeating does not happen because people are weak. It happens because they are unprepared. They go too long without food. They rely on convenience. They let hunger become extreme. Then they reach for whatever is fast and hyper-palatable. Bananas help solve the convenience problem, and convenience is powerful. When healthy food is inconvenient, people often lose the battle. When healthy food is quick, visible, and portable, the odds improve. Now, if someone eats a banana on top of an already excessive diet, it won't produce fat loss. But if it helps replace dessert, reduce vending machine choices, or prevent impulsive snacking, it can absolutely support better weight control. This is why I think bananas are more valuable than they are often given credit for. They've worked in real life, and any health strategy that ignores real life usually fails. 8. The ripeness of the banana can change the experience. This is something many people never think about. Not all bananas affect the body in exactly the same way. A greener banana tends to contain more resistant starch and may be less sweet. A riper banana usually contains more readily available sugars and may be easier to digest for some people. That doesn't make one good and the other bad. It just means the experience changes. Someone looking for gentler sweetness and easier quick energy may prefer a ripe banana. Someone more focused on resistant starch or slower digestion may prefer one that is less ripe. The point is not to overcomplicate it. The point is to notice that food is dynamic. Even the same fruit changes over time, and your body may respond differently depending on when you eat it and what you eat it with. That's useful knowledge, especially for people who assume nutrition must be rigid and all or nothing. 9. What happens if you eat one every day for weeks or months? This is where the real answer lives. Most benefits of food are not dramatic in 24 hours. They show up through accumulation. After a few days, you may not notice much beyond convenience and maybe better satiety. After a couple of weeks, some people may notice more regular digestion, fewer poor snack choices, or more stable pre-workout energy. After a month or more, the real value may come from what the habit has helped create. More fruit intake, better consistency, fewer processed snacks, more potassium-rich foods, and a slightly more intentional relationship with eating. This is one of the biggest misconceptions in health content. People expect one food to create one dramatic outcome. But in real life, one consistent food often contributes to a pattern, and that pattern changes the outcome. So the real question is not just, what does a banana do? It is, what does a daily banana become part of? If it becomes part of a thoughtful routine, the answer can be meaningful. 10. Who should be careful? Even healthy foods are not ideal for every person in every situation. People with certain kidney conditions may need to monitor potassium intake. Some people with digestive sensitivities may find bananas helpful, while others may feel bloated depending on ripeness, quantity, and overall gut health. People with diabetes or insulin resistance do not necessarily need to fear bananas, but they may benefit from eating them in balanced meals rather than on their own. This is where nuance matters. Healthy eating is not about blindly copying food rules from the internet. It is about understanding your own body, your own medical context, and your own patterns. A banana is a simple food, but your body is not simple, and respecting that complexity is one of the healthiest things you can do. So, what really happens if you eat one banana every day? For many people, nothing dramatic happens overnight. And honestly, that's a good thing, because the healthiest foods are often not the ones that shock your system. They're the ones that quietly support it. A daily banana may help provide steadier energy. It may support digestion. It may contribute potassium to a diet that needs it. It may help with workout fueling, recovery, appetite control, and even mood support in subtle ways. And perhaps most importantly, it may serve as one small anchor habit that pulls the rest of your diet in a better direction. That is the real power of simple nutrition. Not hype, not miracles, not fear, just a food that is easy to eat, easy to repeat, and capable of doing more good than people often assume. And maybe that's the bigger lesson here. Health is rarely built by extreme choices. It is usually built by ordinary choices, repeated consistently enough that the body begins to trust them. So, if bananas are already part of your life, you may have more going for you than you thought. And if they're not, this may be one of the easiest healthy habits to try. Not because it will change everything by itself, but because sometimes lasting change begins with something as simple as reaching for a better option, one day at a time. And from there, you start noticing that better health is often less about chasing the perfect food and more about giving your body enough small reasons, day after day, to keep working in your favor.